What's up, everybody? Big Herc and Big Ant Prison Talk Podcast number 5. I hope you guys have been tuning in and checking out all of our latest podcasts on our website. If you haven't got a chance to do so, get your motherfucking ass up and go download that shit, man. We got 4. We're on number 5. We already got 2 loaded up. So go to the website, freshoutseries.com, and download the podcast so you can get a good laugh at work and maybe you can split a wig or two. If you haven't got a chance to check out the YouTube and subscribe, I don't know where you've been at, man. You need to go subscribe to the YouTube. Quit bullshit and push the subscribe button. We're almost at 200K, man. We hit 200K, you know what's going down. We're doing a giveaway of a flat screen TV. So be ready, be subscribed, and then that way you can enter to win the flat screen TV, which will be randomly drawn. Also, for those who haven't got a chance to subscribe to the website, when you subscribe to the website, it allows you the opportunity to post your music on the playlist. I got Big Herc's playlist up there so far, and I got 3 different playlists, but we're looking for other fans, other people who want to share their playlists with other fans, like a communities type of setup. So tune in, subscribe, share your playlist, and we can all check out what you like to bump when you busting cheeks. Also, subscribe to the Instagram and the Twitter. I'll be dropping some jewels on there, you know, a lot of positive stuff, a lot of motivational stuff, and, just keeping it positive, man. And we want to give a shout out to the Patreon patrons. They've been donating for those who like to donate. Oh, and if you haven't got a chance to check out the Patreon Fresh Out series, we got some new cooking shows on there, and we're also going to be working on an exclusive documentary we're dropping on there. So subscribe to the Patreon, support, and, hey, we got some special things for the Patreon patrons. We got Gary Watson, S.A. Garcia, Natasha Roden, Adrian Binko, Fergus Reed, Victor, Power Rule, Eric Losh, George Gill, Zanzibar, Joe Williams, James Campbell, John Funacane, Sammy V, Chris Fallon, Clutomus, John Douglas, Noah Suzuzu, Van Leer Anderson Jr., and Kyle Wilcox. So, hey, shout out to all y'all, man. You've been great for supporting us. We really appreciate that. We're going to keep trying to bring you guys some really dope content and keep the Patreon moving. And for those on the Back on Your Feet program, shout out to all y'all. I had a list, but I forgot to bring it with me of you guys. I was going to give you guys a shout out too. But check out the Back on Your Feet program. We have some cool artists on there. We got a graffiti artist. You know, they're doing their thing. They're trying to get their hustle on. So we appreciate you guys if you support it. And if you have something you want to try to hustle, holler at us, man. FreshOutSeries@gmail.com. And we can, send you guys a contract, Big Ann, and take care of you and get your stuff so you guys can start making some money and get your hustle on. Quit being broke asses.
Great introduction.
Thank you.
Long-winded, got a lot to say. Yes, like Big Herc said, we appreciate all you guys out there, and we appreciate all the support that we get from you guys with the podcast. This is a new venture for us, and definitely the next evolutionary step within the Prison Talk segment. So yeah, we appreciate you guys, and keep listening. So there's something that I came across today. I don't know if you saw it, Herc, but have you seen this video about that Tamagotchi rapper, or whatever that dude's name is?
Tech 69 or Takeshi 69 or something like that.
I don't know what the hell it is. The dude with all the
Punky Brewster
tattoos all over his face.
Yeah, with green hair.
Yeah, man. I saw him get dropped today at LAX or
I heard about
whenever
that.
it was.
At TMZ, right?
Yeah.
So what happened with that? I didn't get the chance to watch it.
I thought it was hilarious, man, because I saw it and it looked like his entourage was basically just starting shit. Or someone started shit with them. It was 2 dudes against the whole entourage. And then one dude gets sucker punched, and then it just explodes. It erupts from there. And then you see all his crew going after these 2 dudes, and then you see little Tamagotchi running in the back, like, oh, what's going on? What's going on? Like one of those little chihuahuas, you know?
Yeah.
And then the next thing you know, I see the camera was really shaky because someone was walking towards the action or whatever. And then I just see him hit the ground.
Oh, shit. Got knocked the fuck out.
Yeah. So he was on the ground. They picked his ass up, the whole 100 pounds of him. And he ran off inside and whatnot. And then I looked into it, or I was like reading the comments, seeing what people were saying. Some people were saying, oh, he has a record dropping this Friday or something, so that's why getting in the news or getting in the media so that way he could try to pump up his sales. And I just thought, okay, so he has a record dropping, so he wanted to see what it was like to get dropped.
Well, see, he's been on the internet, talking a bunch of stuff, I guess, and I seen dudes commenting, and I just kind of look at the, read the comments or kind of, listen to them. But anyways, and I guess somebody was saying that, him coming out here, they wasn't really down with it. Some other rappers, and allegedly, I didn't see the paperwork, but I think there's some court stuff out there where he got caught with a youngster.
Oh yeah, I heard he's a chomo.
Yeah, that's what I heard too. Somebody was 13, like he was in a room or doing something, but it wouldn't culture.
Yeah. He tried saying he was 17, he was 18.
Yeah,
they were 13 or
yeah,
some shit like that.
Yeah. It was some out of pocket type shit.
Yeah, so I could see why someone would say some shit to him, and I don't know why he's getting the publicity that he's getting.
Yeah. It's gonna be short lived. I mean, when you're walking around like that, there's always gonna be somebody to knock you out of your motherfucking space because he's looking for it.
Yeah, and I mean, well deserved because that dude's.
Yeah, he's off the chain. I mean, toting the little guns in the videos and talking all this. I'm like, these.
He did a follow up video or some shit, and I couldn't understand a goddamn word he was saying. It's like he had a whole bag of marbles in his mouth. Sounded like a retarded boomhauer from.
I met a lot of Bloods, like real Damus. I ain't never seen nobody get down like that. I ain't never seen a dude in the county and the feds and YA and Sacktown out here in LA. I've never seen a Blood carry themselves like how that dude carries.
Oh, he's trying to claim a Blood?
He's Blood. He's claiming Blood.
Really?
Yeah, he's claiming Blood from New York.
With that rainbow hair?
With that fucking rainbow hair, bro. I'd never seen a Blood like that. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's gangbanging.
What's this world
coming to? I don't know, man. This shit's fucking crazy, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, enough of that nonsense. Let's get into the prison talk questions. We have a couple really good ones. This first one, I think, is going to really knock it out of the park, and I'm glad whoever sent this in sent it in because it's very relevant to today's times. Big Herc, do you believe in white privilege and white supremacy as an excuse for why minorities can't be successful in life? I do not remember these phrases being thrown around when I was a younger man in 90s, but they seem like a core belief amongst most minorities today. Also, recently, there was shooting here in Washington State that involved 2 black high school students who gathered for a fight but choose to shoot instead. I don't edit these questions when they come in. I just read them as they're written, so if it sounds fucked up, it's the person that sent it. I believe this... Okay, so, and one of the relative of the boys said, I believe the system is designed for our youth to fail. Sounds like they made a personal decision to me, not a systemic decision. But what are your thoughts on this?
Okay, I got a good one for y'all because, for one, we were all born perfect when we entered this motherfucking world. The imperfection came when we actually started taking on the nature of our environment. And so when you talk about, white privilege or white supremacy, I think you're referring more to, it would be more or less considered white racism if you want to say those are the ones who have a warped view of humanity and are the furthest things away from the universe as it was intended to operate. White supremacists, I love white supremacists. You want to know why? White supremacist means that you're a supreme being. If you're a supreme being, that means that you are involved with love, justice, knowledge, mercy, and compassion. That means that you're one with the universe. You don't see color. When you see somebody doing something that's going to harm Mother Nature, you actually step in, whether it be a kid talking back to his parents, somebody about to do an act that's against humanity, anything like that. You're a supreme being. You see everything in its highest form. To be supreme in anything, you cannot be against nature. The more in harmony with the universe, the more supreme you become. You want to meet the real white supremacist. And I'm saying this, I'm not claiming these words out my mouth to be mine, because I was just watching a KRS-One basic YouTube video when Anthony sent me over these questions, and it was just like, it was profound, because people have the wrong depiction of white supremacists. It's not the motherfucker running around with the Doc Martens, with the motherfucking overalls, tooting his hand up in the air, waving tiki torches, or the Confederate flag. That's not a white supremacist. That's a white, ignorant motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? If he was a supremacist, he would be embracing nature, the universe. He would be embracing people trying to elevate their self-consciousness. He would be embracing love, courage. He'd be embracing intellectualism, knowledge. That's a white supremacist. So that's my take on that. As far as the kids, making a personal decision, not a systematic decision. Yeah, a lot of these, what it comes down to, a lot of these black youths don't have male role models in the house. The dad ain't got a job, or he's not supporting his kids, or he's got 2 or 3 kids. He's trying to juggle between 2 or 3 different households, or he's locked up. The mom is working 2 or 3 jobs. By supporting 2 or 3 babies, by 2 or 3 different babies' dads. And she doesn't have the time to parent a male. A male needs a male. A male. I'm a motherfucking alpha male. I need a male to tell me, hey, listen here, do this, do that. You need a male. My mom was a great mom. I can't blame her for anything. She wasn't on crack. She wasn't, not working. My mom was busting ass, but, I didn't have no male role model. So the male role model in the household is critical. People think that, you could raise this kid now, and they're going to school, and they got these weird people now coming and telling you're not a her, you're not a him, you're it. I mean, it's some bullshit. Kids are all fucked up, and especially in the ghettos, even more fucked up in the ghettos because the parents aren't there, man. They're working, and kids are what they call latchkey kids. They go to school, they got a key, they come home, they play video games. They don't have any role models, male role models. So I think, systematically, to a degree, it's a lot of people who are basically frustrated, confused because they don't know an answer to this. The males don't know how to go about getting established to get on their feet so they can take care of the kids, or they had the kids too young. The youngsters are looking for some type of role model, and so they turn to YouTube, social media, and see dudes like that Tekashi 6ix9ine kid running around with Punky Brewster here, and they're trying to imitate that bullshit. So, you have a lot of kids that are confused, that are basically misguided, and so they do stuff instead of learning how to fight, they go take a gun. I got a friend, I know somebody whose son was gangbanging in fucking Virginia. Got into a fight with a kid at a mall, or previously I got into a fight, got beat up, seen the kid at the mall leaving, went and got a gun and shot the kid and killed him. 19 years old. Now he's in prison for fucking 40 or 50 years. And my partner said, man, I don't know what to say when I go to see him. He's crying. He wants to come home, blah, blah, blah. He's fucked because he couldn't throw hands. You little busters out there talking about you're going to slide and you're gangster and all this shit. Nigga, learn how to fight. Quit being a coward. You know what I'm saying? Go take some fucking karate classes.
Yeah, that brings up a really good point because, I mean, so much of that stuff could be avoided if these dudes would just fight, get it over with, get your ass whooped. If you get your ass whooped, or beat up the other dude, and then it stops there. But so many people, I don't know why they're just so scared to get their ass whooped. Like, I remember there was one time I got my ass whooped, and I'll admit it. And I thanked the dude afterwards, and then we became friends. Like that, it's like one of those things. Like for males, sometimes you just got to get that shit out, and so it's like, okay, you want to throw hands, let's do it.
That's it. Learn to be tough.
You agree, I agree. Let's handle it. Let's get it over with, and then we live to see another day instead of like your friend's kid who now is doing life.
Dude,
man.
he's stuck.
Like, I mean, that I wouldn't know what to say to him either, man, because that's it. You're done
because you got beat up. It's a wrap because you got beat up.
Because you didn't want to, take your licks, lick your wounds or whatever, and, just move on. Like there's no reason to hold on to that shit. And,
it's a waste of life.
Yeah, it's a complete waste. And, it's one of those things, too, because I know the way that it seems society's going, a lot of guys, you can't. It's a lot of betas kind of like nipping at the heels of the alphas, it seems like. And a lot of the betas, they feel like they can get away with it because they know that if you put hands on them, you're done.
Yeah,
so they could talk shit. They can talk shit because if you don't do anything, it kind of makes you look like a bitch or whatever. But then they feel tough because they're talking shit. But then when you actually put hands on them, then they're quick to press charges or Yeah, he beat me up. Blah, blah, blah. I want to press charges. And it's like, dude, you were talking tough
Yeah.
2 minutes ago.
Yeah.
And then now that I whooped your ass, you want to press charges? Like, what the fuck's that about? Like, take your ass whooping. Say, no, man, I don't want to press charges. I don't know what happened. You know, I fell or whatever. Like, you don't have to just fall right into it. And that actually got me thinking, like, I know it's a far out thought, but I thought, how cool would it be if there was actually a way where we were able to implement some sort of like mutual combat law, which I think back in the day existed, but they slowly but
kinda
surely
like,
made it illegal.
Like the draw.
Yeah, like okay, there's like a statewide app where you have the app. You say, okay, you want to throw down? Turn it on. It records that dude saying, yeah, I agree to mutual combat, and then you turn it to you. Yeah, I agree to mutual combat. Boom. Sends to the state. State's like, yeah, these dudes agree, man. Hey, do you got your ass whooped, bro?
Got approved.
Like, you know,
Yeah.
like there you go.
Yeah.
There's nothing for me. I don't have to catch a case. I put this dude in his place, and now he's gonna think twice about running his mouth because now there's a way for him to get his ass whooped without repercussions
Exactly.
towards the dude who whooped his ass.
Exactly.
You know, and that you see how many people talk shit when that's a thing. If it ever was to become a thing, I guarantee you there would be less fights because motherfuckers wouldn't run their mouth.
On top of it, it's the parents.
Yeah.
Who hit you? Did he hit you? Let's go to the school tomorrow. I'm going to go tell the principal he's getting kicked out.
Yeah.
I used to get in fights all the time coming from grade school. And basically my mom was like, what's happened? Oh, you know. And then she figured, you know, what happened? I said, you know, I got into a fight. Had a little black eye and nose be a little swole up. The next day I catch the kid on the side of the building. We go at it again. That's what we did on the military base. We got down. You know, wouldn't no go and bringing your mom up there acting like a little punk or getting walked to school. I mean, you know, these kids, they're raising a lot of motherfucking pussies, man.
Yeah, they really are.
You know?
And that's also kind of what is leading towards this kind of thought process like this person's question was with like minorities. I don't know. It seems like I never heard this term, white privilege, or, I mean, I've heard white supremacy, but white privilege, that never was a thing growing up for me either. That's more of a new thing, it seems like, within minorities. But for that to be an excuse as to why you're not successful is complete horse shit. Whether it exists or not, it shouldn't fucking matter if it exists as to why you're not successful. Like, you should be successful regardless. And even if it exists, there should be more fuel for you to be successful. It should never be a reason why you can't be successful. Why would that be a reason why? It's not like they're saying, oh, you're black, you can't open a business. Oh, you're brown, you can't, you know. No one's saying that shit. Mm-hmm. The only person saying that is you. You're feeding yourself all this bullshit as to why you can't be successful because white privilege, whatever. I don't know what the fuck that even means. Like,
well, white privilege would refer to the kid, for example, who raped a girl on Stanford College campus and got 3 months in prison.
Right, but what does that have to do with success?
It has nothing to do with success.
I understand that part.
Yeah.
Within the legal system, yeah, I could see that. But in terms of you personally being successful, there should be no reason why that holds you back.
No,
like,
I mean, yeah, that has nothing to do with your personal endeavors or what you set your ambition to. I mean, I could sit here and say, "Oh, my ex-felon, you know, I've been locked up 3 different times and blah, blah, I can't get a job. It's hard for a black man out here." Yeah. All right.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Get off
that's just
get your hustle on.
You feed yourself to keep you from not getting to where you want to be, and then you end up at the end of your life and, oh, I don't have shit to show for myself. It must have been the white people that did it. You know, like, oh, white privilege kept me down. It's like, no, you were just a lazy bitch and you didn't want to step up and get shit done to get to where you wanted to be, and you let excuses hold you back. So that's why you're nothing now. So
that's right.
You know, like, if you're a minority, don't let that bullshit hold you back. Don't let people put that in your ear like, oh, you're black or you're brown, so, you know, you're not going to be able to be successful. Is it harder? Maybe. But who fucking cares? It's harder for everybody that wants to be successful. That's why there's successful people and unsuccessful people, because the successful people were willing to do whatever it took to get there. The unsuccessful people were willing to make every excuse possible to not get there. So which one do you want to be in? Which category do you want to be in? And to talk about the quote that this guy said, I believe the system is designed for youth to fail. Okay, you're able to recognize that that is how the system operates. So you now have to make the decision, or come up with a strategy how not to become how not to be in the system. So what I mean by that is there's no politicians jumping at the opportunity to fix the system. They know it's designed for people to fail. You don't see them, like I said, working towards correcting that. So it's on us to recognize that and come up with strategies to not be a part of it. You know, don't live up to your stereotype. Don't do stupid shit. Don't become a part of it because, as you said, yeah, it's designed to help you fail. It's not designed to help you or rehabilitate you or make you a better person. So unless you're going to put yourself in position to infiltrate it and correct it, then you have to do everything you can to stay out of it. So that's more or less my take on that, and hopefully you guys can recognize what it is and work towards infiltrating it and correcting it and making it something better, something that'll work, so that way we don't have this type of system where people are, you know, going in and coming out worse than they were when they first went in.
Yep. That's it.
So hope that answers your question, and let's move on to the second question. Hey, Big Herc. First off, huge fan. Love your content and the professional quality of your videos. I also find it inspiration to see how much you've endured and learned from your experiences. My question is this. You've mentioned being sent to the hole in a lot of your videos. What's so bad about it? Surely some people like isolation, a little peace and quiet, maybe read a book or something. Thanks, and keep up the great work. Giovanni, London.
Oh, Giovanni. Yeah, so the hole might not be bad for someone who has no sense of urgency to get out of prison or further their spiritual and educational endeavors. But for me, I was fighting to get out of prison every day. I was incarcerated. I always had a motion or some kind of habeas corpus in court asking for relief. That's the thing. For a lot of guys in prison, it's a timeout. They don't mind hanging out with no responsibilities. Me, on the other hand, I hate it every day. I couldn't make moves on the streets and grow as a human being. I didn't need to go sit in some hole to get a little peace and quiet. I wanted to network with other like-minded individuals and figure a way out of prison. Every day I was in prison, I tried to build relationships so that when I got out, I didn't have to depend on Joe Blow giving me a job or my family trying to give me a place to sleep at. Everybody that helped me were people that I met in prison, and that's how I got to where I'm at today. My family didn't do shit. My homeboy helped me get a car. My other homeboy helped me get a place to live. My other homeboy helped me get a job. My other homeboy helped me get another place to move to. So I networked. Going to the hole, you can't network. See, going to the hole means that you're out of the loop. So my goal was to stay in the loop as much as possible. And that's why I didn't split more wigs, because I knew going back and forth to the hole and getting transferred, I couldn't establish a bond or relationship with the people among me so that I would have an opportunity when I got out. See, a lot of guys don't think like that. I thought 8 years ahead. The average motherfucker thinks about the next morning. See, so that's the difference. And that's why people who go to the hole are sitting in there to some degree, because I've been to the hole for just random, you know, and sometimes you gotta handle your business and you might go to the hole, but you're not trying to go to the hole and hang out. You're trying to, if you're a smart motherfucker and you know you're going to be on the street someday and you want to be on the street someday, you want to be able to stay out the fucking hole so you can go to the law library so you can read the latest news as far as what case has been overturned or if there's an appeal process or maybe you can get a downward departure. You can't get none of that shit in the hole. You can't get any information in regards to your rights or what you have coming as far as laws that have been passed or anything that's happened. You could be in the hole and miss everything. So that's why the hole is a shitty place.
I think this viewer doesn't really understand what the hole entails. What's a normal day like when you're in the hole?
The normal day in the hole is locked down all day. You're not getting out for no wreck. You're locked down all day. You might get a shower every 2 days. Check out Terry Roten's interview on our channel. He was in the hole. It was 48-1, sometimes 72-2. You know, you're not interacting. You're not seeing nobody. It ain't like shot caller where you're passing motherfuckers. And no, you're in the hole. You work out in a little cage. You know what I mean? You might see a motherfucker like across the way, but they got walls and shit. It's all isolated. You're not fucking in there partying. Luckily, you get a Bible. If you're cool, you might get a motherfucker get cool with you. The tier attendant, he'll bring you in some little books to read, and people are fighting for those books, man, because there's only a certain number of books in there. It's cold. You got one motherfucking sheet. You're in there with another dude who might be from a rival neighborhood, but you got to learn to get along, and you don't get any extra food. You don't get no commissary. You get a pencil that's maybe the size of your pinky, and you got to make do with that. So the hole is not a motherfucking Holiday Inn.
Is that also one of those type of situations where they leave the lights on?
Yeah.
24 hours?
Yeah.
So there's no nighttime, really?
No, you don't know what time it is. You have to, a lot of times you sleep with a towel over your face. I used to do it. You roll a towel up, put it over your eyeballs. That's how you go to bed. You don't see, only time you know it's time is when you hear people out like getting ready, they're about to serve food and they pop the trays, the fucking slots on the doors. So the whole, you don't know what day it is after a while, what time it is. And basically, the more time you spend in there, the more fucked up your perception of reality is.
And that's how dudes go crazy, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
You always hear those stories about dudes being in the hole for fucking 3 months straight and then they come out wacky.
Well, I know a cat, my homeboy, he's out doing great right now, but he was in the hole because he was smashing motherfuckers in prison and they kept transferring. And he said, he's seen dudes who were like, big time dudes, but they had got in the hole, went crazy. This motherfuckers in there rubbing shit on themselves, shit on the walls, just fucking hollering. They open a tray, they're throwing shit out the fucking slot. It's fucking, man, it's barbaric, man. People can lose their mind in there, pissing and just dudes that just go crazy, man. Some people, you get in there and they really buckle down, but guys who are doing like life, guys who are doing a lot of time and they're stuck in the hole and they can't even communicate, and you don't get no visits, you ain't getting no calls, you luckily you get your mail, you might get your mail till you get out the hole. So, the hole is not no motherfucking no motherfucking vacation.
Yeah, that's what this dude made it seem like. It's a little vacation. Peace and quiet, read a book.
Man.
I think a lot of people, they just have this weird, they
watch movies, Hollywood.
They don't understand it. Like, okay, what would be the equivalent? Go inside your bathroom, lock the door, throw your phone out the door, and that's the whole, right?
Yeah,
leave the light on.
Leave the light on all the whole time. Get a blanket.
Lay on the floor.
Lay on the floor, yeah.
And there you go.
That's it. You ain't got no pillow.
Stay in there for 2 days straight and see how you feel.
Exactly. Not leaving. You shit right there, and you got another person. Put one of your homies up in there with you, so that both of y'all can be in there together, and you can see really what it's like to be in the hole.
Yeah.
Because you're probably not gonna get a single man cell in the hole.
Yeah. So that's hopefully that answers your question. And if you want to try that little experiment, let us know how it works out for you. In other news, current events pertaining to prison, I found this very interesting. A police officer was actually fired for not shooting a black suspect. And
what do we call that?
Yeah, and he won a $175,000 wrongful termination suit against the West Virginia law enforcement, police, whatever, that fired him. And so this guy basically came up against a suspect who was believed to be suicidal, had a gun on him. This officer in particular is a veteran, served in Iraq and Afghanistan, which I would imagine he's used to, hostile situations,
Mm-hmm.
So I would assume he's able to keep his cool, as opposed to some cops that are trigger happy and when they're in these types of situations are just quick to shoot. So he tried actually talking the guy down, and when two other officers showed up, they basically got out of their cars and just blasted the dude. And so this guy 10 days later gets a termination letter basically saying, you should have shot that guy, and here you go. See you, bye. And so he said, fuck you. I don't believe that you should just shoot people just because I felt he wasn't a threat. I tried talking him down, and these guys blasted him before I can get the gun out of his hand. So he actually won that lawsuit. And now what?
Yeah, so you have a cop that was fired for shooting an armed black man, but in the wake of Florida's shooting, you have Nicholas Cruz, who was taken alive, and he had already murdered 17 people. Then you have Dylan Roof, the perpetrator in the mass shooting of a church in Charleston, who was taken alive. they called him a white supremacist, but he was actually a white racist motherfucker. You know, Mater gave the guy the benefit of the doubt, hoping he could save a life, and was punished for it. People always want to throw around mental illness when it's convenient, but then some of the middle class white males that fits a particular profile, you know, seems beneficial. But you don't see black people or brown people getting away with the mental illness plea. And I'm not being racist, I'm just stating facts. These males are protected by the system like some kind of scapegoat. And that's what it boils down to. So going back to the white privilege thing, is a perfect example. I mean, dude, you know, I've seen on the news where a guy's car had broke down. He's standing. The helicopter rolls up. The higher patrol, and the first thing they say, "Oh, he's big and he's a big black guy. He's intimidating." Are you that scared of a black man? Do you have a fear of a black planet? I mean, does it take? You shouldn't even be on the force if you fear another race. If you fear a human being, you shouldn't be in the motherfucking police force. You should go get a job at a motherfucking at a youth camp or something and get your personal skills up, because you're going to deal with a lot of people, and you're supposed to act in a higher capacity than the average, and you should have some type of compassion for people in general. Not to say now this guy, I don't know how he waved the gun, but the bottom line is you guys you didn't hesitate to gun him down, but I've seen plenty of people taken alive, you know? So it's a matter of like I said, you know, people they try to, when it's convenient, use certain scapegoats, but in other situations, you know, like this guy, for instance, who tried to make a decision and to not just take a man's life. You don't know what he was going through. Maybe he had mental illness. Maybe this is somebody who had just lost a kid or was distraught because his wife had an illness, or, you know, or a terrible breakup. It could have been anything, man, you know, and maybe, you know, in all instances, maybe he wanted death by cop. So there's a lot of other things that play a factor here, but this guy, you know, he didn't bite, Mater didn't bite, and was punished for it.
Yeah, I definitely think, you know, props should go out to him for at least trying to talk dude down. Because like you said, what if he was, you know, what if he had a bad breakup, super emotional, didn't know what to do, whatever. You know, he could have been talked down. But that opportunity was completely bypassed by these other two cops that just straight up blasted him. No questions, nothing.
What about Martin Lawrence? Remember when he went crazy, waving a gun down the street like a couple years ago, running around damn near butt naked?
No.
What if they rolled up and just gunned him down? They didn't, you know, they talked him down. He was.
I mean, if he wasn't a celebrity, he probably would have been.
Exactly. So you don't know what he was going through. This guy, you know, he could have lost his mom.
And see, and that's where, like, this dude, maybe being a vet, you know, he could recognize that type of shit, because a lot of vets get PTSD. Mm-hmm. You know, he's familiar with it. He's like, dude, I got to help this guy, or at least try to help this guy. He wasn't a threat, never pointed the gun at him. And so at least let me try. And then these dudes just said, fuck that. Bye.
Yeah, they get a strike.
So, yeah, I also want to, like, just clarify what I mean when I say white privilege and not how it shouldn't, with success. Within the legal system, I definitely think there's more white privilege / bias, because you see it all the time. Even with my case, I was busted for sales with intent to distribute. And I actually did time with guys who got busted for manufacturing and distribution of steroids. And they got the exact same time I did. And anybody that knows, you know, manufacturing and distribution is always way worse than sales. So, and they were both white. So they both got the same amount of time as I did. So within the legal system, yes, it exists more often than not. But it should still, regardless, not be an excuse for why you can't be successful as a minority. So just want to clarify that in case anybody gets that confused. But yeah, this is, I mean, hats off to this guy. If you ever hear this podcast, just know there's dudes that appreciate you at least trying, and hopefully you can get another job and not be around that type of shit. But usually I don't think you'll be able to get another job as a cop, not unless you go to like a small town or something like that.
Private security somewhere.
Yeah. So there's another in Ohio. Apparently there's a county jail that's just going off right now. The warden there is being a huge dick to all of the inmates, the staff. He calls himself the Teflon Don. His name's Warden Levy, and he calls himself that because he thinks he's untouchable. And what blows me away about this guy is that he's so fucked up in the head that he even treats his staff wrong, which to me is a huge mistake, because at any point in time, his staff might have forgot to lock a cell. You know, they're walking down a unit. Oh, I forgot to lock that cell down. Some pissed off inmate or group of inmates comes out, handles this dude, and then, you know, wash your hands of it. You know, so it's like if you're a warden, man, the last people you want to piss off are your own staff. And apparently he's treating them like shit, denying all the requests, not giving them time off or not giving them overtime, all kinds of crazy shit. And he's just walking around thinking he's the shit. And it really blows me away that something bad hasn't happened to him already, because accidents do happen. And he definitely seems like a candidate for an accident.
Well, see, that's the thing about like a lot of these wardens and shit, man. I mean, they had at Lompoc, they call them the Cowboys. That's what the name of the staff there. And the warden ran that shit like he was a motherfucking John Wayne, you know. He basically put the smash down. If there's somebody who thought they were bigger than him, he locked their ass in a hole. And if he didn't, you know, if you looked like you were living too well, he'd lock your ass in a hole. They would 4-point people. And for those who don't know what 4-point is, meaning that they would get a motherfucking, like a skewer, a big-ass broomstick type situation, and cuff your ass in there like they do a hog with your underwear on and carry your ass to the hole, fuck you up, and they'll leave you like that for a little while. I mean, these guys ran it, you know, and he got, you know, he was embezzling money from Unicor and everything. So he was a straight gangster, man. You know, he was buying big screen TVs for his personal use at home on the prison's budget, stuff that should have went to the prison. I mean, he's doing a lot of shit. So it doesn't surprise me, because I've seen guys in power like this who are straight dickheads. Was at another institution in Sheridan. They had a warden there. He's a cold piece of shit. As soon as he got to the prison and took over, he's like, oh, man, we got to get rid of this, this, and this. This place looks like a college campus. And it was a place where shit never jumped off. It was pretty mellow. You know, everybody it was conducive. They had live concerts there. People had musical classes. I mean, it was very conducive to being rehabilitated. That was the most conducive. They had grass there. The staff actually had brought in a female singer one time to perform, and all the inmates behaved. Nobody did nothing stupid. I mean, it was one of the most, you know, out of all the places I've been to, it was pretty laid back initially. Then this warden came in and took away the weights, killed the music program, basically went on a tangent where at times they would feed us food to where it was just garbage ass food to see how far he could push it before, you know, people would have a food strike. And they do that purposely, because once you have a strike, then we could take something else. So eventually they'll take everything. He wanted to take the microwaves. He wanted to take this. He didn't want you to have shit. And he was a fucking drunk. Got DUI and shit, you know, all type of shit. Piece of shit. So these people in these positions don't surprise me. A lot of them are pieces of shit. That's how they got there.
Yeah, in the article that I read, they were saying that inmates were getting sick because I guess apparently the trays that they have within the cracks, there's some sort of like fluid that's leaking out, and it smells like sewage or feces or some shit like that. So inmates are actually getting sick now, and it's just all bad misappropriation of funds. This guy's using federal money for who knows what, but it's just so bad in this place. And what this.
And like you said about the documents being leaked, because how he's fucking his staff. So let's leak some shit.
Right. So they're doing it that way, which is just surprising, because I would imagine they would do it other ways, you know, a little bit more aggressive ways, you know, because it's just too easy in that type of position. But what this comes down to as well is, yeah, if you commit a crime, you got to do the time. We understand that. But when you take it to that next level and you start trying to overly punish people, you got to keep in mind, inmates or people who break the law are people who really, they have problems with authority. They don't give a shit about rules. They don't like rules. They don't like laws. So now you're trying to punish that person, trying to break them in a aggressive way or however you're trying to do it. Those more often than not are the type of people, it's like when you corner a wild animal, you know, it's going to attack you.
Mm-hmm.
So when you start doing this type of shit and start trying to dehumanize people even more than they already are, you're going to create an environment in which you don't know what's going to pop off. You're going to make dudes more hard. You're going to make dudes more callous. You're going to make them feel like, okay, you want to be one of us, let's take it to the next level then. Let me just sharpen up this spork and take it to your neck, or start beating up staff and doing all this other shit, or when they get out, be even more aggressive than they were when they went in. So this type of approach, granted this guy's a piece of shit and really fucked in the head, probably doesn't understand this, but a lot of people think, oh, we gotta punish you. We gotta punish you for all the shit you've done, blah, blah, blah. It's the wrong approach, because you're just adding more fuel to the fire, and it's gonna blow back in your face. So that's one of the things that strategy needs to be looked at in a different way, because it's not going to work out for the better for anyone.
No, and they're not trying to really reform our prison system, our jail system. Like you said, you go in there and it's like, okay, where are you from? You're a Blood, you're a Crip, you're Nathaniel Sabrina, you're a GD, you're a Vice Lord, you're a Latin King, or you're AB, whatever the case may be. And they categorize everybody, which allows them now to push you into a racial profile. And when you come in, if you weren't racist, maybe by the time you get out, you're racist and you're angry because of the things you had to deal with because of the environment. Now, given that you committed a crime, you had to go to prison, that's part of the whatever, but these people are going to go back into society. You don't want them to go back out to society and be worse than when they went in. So there should be some type of cultivation of humanity so that people maybe they won't do the things they do, Praise. If a person had said hello every day or how you doing or felt some type of praise, they wouldn't be as angry. Most of the people who are troubled that I've met, they've never had somebody tell them I love you. They never had somebody give them a hug. They've never really had any compassion in the household. That's why they're cold like that. That's why they do that dark ass shit. So with more compassion, we can get rid of a lot of this bullshit.
Yeah, so hopefully this warden gets handled appropriately, whether it be being fired and prosecuted or handled by inmates/guards at this facility. Best of luck to you guys. Hope it works out. So enough with all the Debbie Downer stuff. Let's get into some cheek busting stories.
Oh shit, some cheek busting.
So I know a lot of the viewers are probably interested in this type of question. I actually heard someone ask you this on the live stream, but for those who haven't listened to it, how did you get into the porn game?
I got into the porn game when I got out of California Youth Authority. I went in when I was 18. I got out when I was 21. And the whole time I was in from 18 to 21, I beat my meat and looked at porn books. Penthouse, Hustler, whatever I can get my hands on, back then. And we had a couple cool staff. Sometimes they slide you a magazine and you'd be like, oh, shit, try to kill yourself. So when I got out, I'm like, man, it'd be my goal if I can get out there and fuck lots of women, make money, drive nice cars, live the player life, be like Hugh Hefner, and, slang dick. So I got out and, came back to Southern California and worked part-time as a bouncer and found an ad to go audition to be a porn star. Went down, and the audition consisted of me going into a room and the guy saying, okay, get naked and okay, get a hard on. And shit, my shit was hard within probably fucking 30 seconds. And he was like, oh, shit, you okay? So he took some pictures, and I was in shape. I was fucking cock diesel. And a week later, I got a call. Now I got a call. I had to go out to the valley. It's one of those houses like you see in the movies, sitting on a little hill, people, kind of hanging out. You walk in, there's camera equipment everywhere, lights and shit. Somebody's fucking in the living room. I'm like, oh shit, they in there fucking, man. I'm, peeping out the, what's going on. I'm like, okay, you know what I mean? And, it's hot up in there, and I'm thinking, oh shit, this is my fucking big break, man. This is my fucking my Hollywood break, man. So I'm like, okay, you're gonna be next. You're gonna work with this girl. I look at the girl. I'm like, oh man, she wasn't super hot, but I'm thinking, I gotta zone out. I gotta get in that fucking Jordan zone. I gotta fucking, think about, do a Kobe Bryant move, and get ready. So the scene came up. I think I had a little protein bar or sandwich or something. I did something because a lot of times you'd be there and it'd be long and you'd be hungry and shit. So I think I had a little something. The other guy I was working with, he had been around for a little while, older cat, but he's fuck with that. He used to toot a little bit. He fuck with that blow, and so he was a little high, and he couldn't really perform up to par because we were supposed to do a DP. For those who don't know, and this is my first time. I'm like, what the fuck is a DP? One in the butt, one in the cooter. So I said, a fucking DP. Oh shit. So I'm like, okay, well, who's where? So this cat, he couldn't keep it hard on, so I ended up having to work both of them. The coochie as an assassin and the booty assassin. So I was going back and forth, murdering it. Dude looking at me like, damn, I'm sweating like a motherfucker, man. I'm dripping sweat, breathing hard. It's hot. You know what I mean? I'm parched. And when the dude says, okay, ready for the pop shot, man, I launch one. I launched it. You know what I'm saying? Shower posse, you know what I'm saying? And, man, that was the start of my career. That was my first movie. That producer, shout out to Jim Powers, you know what I mean? I did many more movies for him after that. And that was my reputation. I got $100, pat on the back. I'm like, damn, $100. And then I'm like, fucking $100 to fuck. Okay, shit, man. How many times can I fuck in a day? You know what I'm saying? So that was my entry into the game. I was 21, and yeah, man, I put in some work that day, man. Earned my rep.
Fuck, man, that's an interesting start to that type of life, man. And $100, man. That's that's pretty fucking brutal.
It was rough, man. That was a rough 100.
Yeah. $100 to blow a load, though. I mean, it's not that bad.
I had been busting them all those years for free. I'm like, shit, $100?
7 times a day.
Yeah.
Down the toilet.
Shit, man. So yeah, man. That was it was quite an experience, man.
Fuck. Well, hope you guys enjoyed that cheek busting story in this podcast, and we look forward to talking to you guys in the next one. Take care.
Well, holla.
Lockdown's over. Get your yard time in. Exclusively at FreshOutSeries.com.